Now, you're looking at the Underground Railroad. We come on every Saturday night at 10:30. And we come on YouTube 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. But guess what? Y'all get to see the Buffalo Soldiers. You ever hear the song Buffalo Soldier? I ain't supposed to be singing, but, but I have the Buffalo Soldiers with me. And you know what? I am so glad. You know what? We talk about everything on the show, but I'm going to have them introduce themselves. And howdy, Tommy out there. Go ahead.
Hello there. My name is Tara Cooks, but I am representing Kathy Williams of the Buffalo Soldiers.
My name is Leonard Hiswood. I represent the Buffalo Soldiers and my counterpart over here also.
Okay. And you know what? We are so glad the Underground Railroad television show is so glad to be associated with the Buffalo Soldiers. And people that look at the Underground Railroad television show, support this, because it sounds like this is the right thing to do. Now, there's somebody out there in cyberspace and television would like to know, what is a Buffalo Soldier and what does your organization represent? It's not for profit.
Well, yes, it is.
Okay, so.
But first of all, just to be clear about it, Leonard and I are only two members of a large number of Buffalo Soldiers. There's actually 20 chapters across the U.S. and there's one chapter in Germany.
Oh, it's part of a collective. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, so there are different chapters. And Leonard and I, we are from Indiana, and there are those in Illinois as well, and more in Indiana. But actually, we are part of Stagecoach Productions, which has also been keeping the legacy of the Buffalo Soldiers alive. Mm-hmm. So Stagecoach Productions is a nonprofit organization that is about the legacy of the Buffalo Soldiers, as well as doing youth mentoring and working with veterans. And there are a number of veterans that are a part of Stagecoach Productions, but we also work with other veterans, you know, to assist them or just to be a part of their life or whatever they have going on. So Leonard himself is actually part of the American Legion.
Tell us exactly, what do y'all do? But tell us, what do y'all do? What? Because there are people out there they're looking at these beautiful uniforms that represent part of the black experience. What do y'all do? How can we get involved? You know, and join in on the fun like y'all. What do we do? What do y'all do?
Well, there's a number of things. So, Leonard, you want to start off?
Okay.
It's not hard to do. Sometimes I wear a uniform just to wear it and meet youngsters. They ask me about the Buffalo Soldiers and everything, and they get really excited because a lot of young people, especially black people, don't understand the real history. It's a whole lot of history when it comes with the Buffalo Soldier.
What is a Buffalo Soldier? Now, I'm going to say something. I'm going to tell the crowd. I'm going to tell on myself. I'm ignorant to it. What is a Buffalo Soldier? I'm asking that. Now, if I'm thinking that to myself, there are other people saying, damn, what is a Buffalo Soldier and what does it represent?
Well, actually, a lot of people do ask what a Buffalo Soldier is. Buffalo Soldiers started back in 1866. They were all black soldiers.
Damn, let me write that down. Okay. Okay.
They were all black soldiers that were part of the military. There were different regiments, but the 9th and 10th Cavalry especially. And the Buffalo Soldiers were actually nicknamed that by Native Americans because of their dark skin and their woolly hair. And they also felt that they were compared to the buffalo. So the buffalo, as far as I know, has been traditionally a sacred animal to the Native Americans.
What does the buffalo represent to the people that are native to this land?
Well, that's the thing that I was going to say. It wasn't just about the way they looked. It was also because they had a lot of bravery and courage. The Buffalo Soldiers, they not only did they have to fight for their freedom before they joined the military, because a lot of them were slaves, but many of them were former slaves or they were freed men. Who joined the military and decided to take up another kind of fight. But because there was still a lot of discrimination that they had to face, they were given some of the toughest assignments, but they persevered anyway. They was given some of the most difficult assignments, some of the coldest assignments, but they
Hey,
persevered.
you make it sound like the
anyway.
Tuskegee Airmen. Go
Well,
ahead.
the Buffalo Soldiers actually led to the Tuskegee Airmen.
Go ahead, I'm listening. Excuse me for interrupting.
Well, that's okay. But actually, what a lot of people don't know about the Buffalo Soldiers is actually they helped to map the entire U.S. They were also some of the very first park rangers, and they also led to the Tuskegee Airmen. So they were very instrumental in our country, period. And as a matter of fact, Senator Eddie Melton, who is from Indiana, recently, Tommy O. Pinson Jr. was very instrumental in fighting to get this done. And he worked for about 4 years to get this recognized. But on March 27th of this year, the Buffalo Soldiers were actually honored with Resolution 19. So if you go into the state of
What's
Indiana,
Resolution 19? We don't.
well, if you go into the state of Indiana's website or the Indiana's General Assembly website, you will see Resolution 19. And Resolution 19 was officially presented on March 27th to Tommy O. and other Buffalo Soldiers in recognition by the state of Indiana on the contribution and the dedication of the Buffalo Soldiers. So that was a recognition at the state level that that we're very honored to have. And we recently, unfortunately, Leonard was not able to take the trip with us, but myself, Tommy O, and Aaron Baxter, who is actually the youngest member of the Buffalo Soldiers, but he's also a bull rider too. We went to Washington, D.C. to represent the Buffalo Soldiers.
You give out their telephone number, because you know what? Give out the telephone. So we want people to join the Buffalo Soldiers. What's the telephone and what's the website?
Well, I can most definitely tell them, but I would like to say that when we went to Washington, this was actually a historical event that took place in Washington.
Okay.
Because this was the Buffalo Soldiers, we representing the Buffalo Soldiers, actually presented the Native American descendants of Wounded Knee with a proclamation from the Buffalo Soldiers, is basically saying that we stand in solidarity with you. Wow. And that was a very historical event. And it was actually on June 25th, the 145th anniversary of Battle of Little Bighorn. But there were 3 generations of the Wounded Knee descendants that was there.
Can I ask you, was Custer involved in the Battle of Little Bighorn? I'm getting confused.
I do believe so. He's correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, why did you become a Buffalo Soldier, and how has it enhanced your life by giving others?
By me being in the Marine Corps.
Uh-oh, man. I couldn't even make it through y'all boot camp. Go ahead.
By me being going through the Marine Corps, and when I left the Marine Corps, I wanted to be in some community activity. And me and Tommy Pinson worked at the VA together. And I worked in logistics. And I say, Tommy, what you doing? Oh, I'm an old cowboy and stuff like that. I say, yeah. Well, show me, get me involved in it, and let me check it out. And I see this potential to help young people and to help Black America understand their true history.
Wow. And what type of activities do you do?
Well, I'm logistics.
To enhance, what do you do to enhance, to help the Buffalo Soldiers? What do you do?
The biggest plan.
Don't forget about the school.
We're trying to do a Wild Wild West stage, Wild Wild West town. We're looking for land right now, looking for land for a Wild Wild West town and everything. For like an amusement, like for the young people, it'd be a museum and everything, a saloon, all that stuff is in there.
Well, I'm going to have to come join that now. I can say that because this is not for profit. It's a non-for-profit organization.
Yes, Stagecoach Productions is a non-profit organization. So, and actually, myself, Leonard, and Andrew was actually at a summer enrichment program, and this is one of the things that Buffalo Soldiers and Stagecoach Production does. We were actually there giving a presentation to the students and their parents on the last day of the summer enrichment program, and we came in our uniforms and taught them some things about the Buffalo Soldiers. And there's one thing a lot of people don't know, because I had a young lady come up to me when we were in Washington. She said, excuse me, there was a lady in the Buffalo Soldier? I said, yes, one. She was like, wow. So she was really interested.
This is one quick question, because you know what, the native tribes, so that just means that the Buffalo Soldier didn't do any harm to the Native American.
No, unfortunately they did. They were involved in a lot of the battles against Native Americans, which is one of the reasons why it was very important and historical that we presented the proclamation to them in Washington, D.C. And it was on the grounds of the Native American History Museum, right across the street from the nation's capital.
And then, you know what, we got to wind now because of time constraints. And people, I had to tell people, you know, like we in Can Television, and we got to follow their rules and regulations. I followed that on the job for 30 years. And that's over with, but I got to follow it in here. So you know what? Can you, if it's the will of Allah, I will have y'all on next month. If it's the will of Allah.
Okay.
Because who knows? I might not even make it outside that door. Only God knows that.
Well, that's
true. But can you give y'all information, your telephone number, website, anything you want to give?
Yes, most definitely. Thank you. You can contact Stagecoach Productions and find out more about the Buffalo Soldiers as well. You can go to the national website to find out more about the Buffalo Soldiers. And I implore you to look up Kathy Williams, the only female Buffalo Soldiers, because she has a very interesting story. But you can reach Stagecoach Productions. You can go to our website at Stagecoach Productions Inc. That's inc.com, as well as to contact us at 219-334-3526, and you can send us an email at stagchproinc@gmail.com. So most definitely, you can check us out, and we do bring out the horses. We do own horses too.
And this will be on YouTube. You can see them 7 days a day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. On my YouTube website. They might put it on their website. But you got any finishing comments?
Well, I love to be here.
Okay.
And I love to bring the information out about Buffalo Soldiers because there's more to come.
Okay. You got any finishing comments? Because I know we got to wrap it up.
Yes, two things. Kathy Williams was disguised as a man for 2 years, and that's why her story is interesting. But the other thing is we do have a rodeo that is coming up September 18th.
Okay.
2021 at Crown Point, Indiana. It will be at the Lake County Fairgrounds. And you can definitely get in contact with us to find out more information about that. But it is called the Riding for Veterans and Fallen Heroes Rodeo. So we are doing it in honor of fallen veterans, our veterans overall, as well as cowboys.
Telephone number one more time.
219-334-3526.
Not 2222. No, I can't even say that.
It's 219.
God, you know what? I didn't even finish it. So you know what? They can say that because this is a non-profit organization. I got to wrap up because we got to put the statement. But if it's Allah's will, I will have y'all back next month, and I hope that this is a lasting relationship with Shema Media Productions.
All right,
Thank
one
you
more
very
thank
much.
you. And I brought a copy of the proclamation for you.
Okay. We got something you want to hold up? And then we got to get out of here. We got to. Because I get suspended.
Oh, no, we don't want that to happen now.
Okay.
No. And there's actually a copy, an official copy of the proclamation at the museum that was dedicated to them. So.
Assalamu alaikum. Watch this on YouTube. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You can see these wonderful people in these great uniforms. But they... Peace and blessings be upon you. And I mention both Jesus and Muhammad's names because, in my opinion, they were both authors of truth and reality. And I'm doing a show today about history 101. You know, I got a lot of requests from people on the street saying they wanted to talk about Columbus and talk about George Washington. again. We're going to throw in the Native Americans, people that were native to these lands, the Indians, and just going to try to come with the truth. That's all. So I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves. I'm going to start from my right and ask us to tell a little about yourselves before we get started. Thank you.
My name is Bill Godomsky. I'm an Access producer, and I believe I'm the last revolutionary left in Chicago.
Okay.
I'm Patricia Ampetu Washdewi, Machaje Ampetu Washdewi. My name is Good Day Woman in our Sioux language.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Rashad Pringleton, security guard for 20th Century Services.
Okay. You know, first I thank y'all for taking time out of your daily routine to come down on the show. I appreciate that, but let me get to the point. As Bill always says.
Yeah, to the point.
And you know what I want to ask the Indians. We're going to start with the Indians. Okay. What reality is in America. I'm going to ask all of you, were they the first ones here? And there are people that say that Columbus discovered it first. So can we go down the line and get opinions on that?
I think it's obvious Native Americans were here. That's why we call them Native Americans.
Okay.
And the fact that Columbus simply made his discovery public. There's evidence that West Africa traded with the New World perhaps as long as 2,000 years ago, that Carthaginians probably traveled to North America perhaps as early as 500 BC. In fact, their ships were larger than Columbus's ships and easily could have made it. We know there's documentation that the Scots traveled to North America at least as early as 1386 documentation, and probably earlier, but it was kept, of course, all this was kept a trade secret.
Okay.
In fact, the Carthaginians kept it a trade secret that they were taking tin from Cornwall for centuries.
Okay.
So it just happens to be that Columbus was the first one to make his journeys public.
Okay. Can you jump in on it?
Yes. One of the things that I really believe that we are the First Nations people. We're the First Nations of this world here. And this is the Western Hemisphere. And basically, the Creator gave us this land to share with everyone. And we are sharing it with everyone. And sometimes, especially with Columbus, he took advantage of our hospitality, became brutal with us. Even with the first pilgrims, it was brutality. It wasn't, even though we were very loving people.
Okay. Are you from a particular tribe? I mean,
I'm African American, Native American.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You, brother?
Now, I believe the Native Americans were the first people in this country, on this land. Columbus was the first person from the Eastern Hemisphere to come here and who discovered this country.
Okay, you know what, I've done some reading, and I'm not going off what people say. I'm asking opinions. My understanding is that Christopher Columbus never even made it to America. He really made it, I know that around Cuba, and all this is this true in your opinion?
According to the historical record, he made it to the islands in the Caribbean, and as I recall, his last trip he was off the coast of what we now call Venezuela. Northern South America, he made the coast there. So in a sense, if you say the islands are part of the Americas, or if northern coast of South America is part of the Americas, he didn't make it to the Americas.
What's your take on it?
I believe Pizarro. Pizarro, when he landed with the Inca people, those are our same people, the native people. And one of the things that for the Sioux Nation, which I'm a member of, one of the things that we do is we document who we are. It's through the government set up by George Washington that we have to document who we are. And that's not fair. It's not fair for people to have to prove who they are. We know who we are and things. And far as Christopher Columbus, he was lost.
Okay, he did not make it to America.
We found him. We did, and we were very, very good to him. And we helped bathe him. They were stink when they came, and they were full of pestilence and things, and we healed them with our medicines. And this is one of the medicines that we have.
I see that.
Yes.
What is it?
It's sweetgrass. and we burn it at ceremonies and things. And this is a turtle, which is the resemblance of Mother Earth, and we sit on the turtle's back, all of us.
Okay. Your opinion? Did he make it to America?
Yes. If
Why you said it?
Like Mr. Godomsky said, he reached Venezuela, and that's part of the North American continent. So I say that's why I believe he made it to America.
Okay. Guess I'm not gonna give my spin on it because you know what, I'm trying to be unbiased. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like it is and let the viewers decide for their own. Look like you was getting ready to say something. What you getting ready to say, Dale?
No, just yawning.
Nothing.
I would like to say something.
Okay.
One of the things that we really need to change in our society is we need to have our Native people write our Native books. We need to have our African American people write our African American books. Those are my people. Those are where I come from. And we need to write them instead of having the Anglo-Saxon come in and write our books for us to tell us who we are or who they think we are. We know who we are. That has to change.
I'm an Access producer, and I believe I'm the last revolutionary left in Chicago.
Okay.
I'm Patricia Ampetu Washdewi, Mechaje Ampetu Washdewi. My name is Good Day Woman in our Sioux language.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Rashad Pringleton, security guard for 20th Century Services.
Okay. You know, first I thank y'all for taking time out of your daily routine to come down on the show. I appreciate that, but let me get to the point. As Bill always says.
Yeah, to the point.
And you know what I want to ask the Indians. We're going to start with the Indians. Okay. What reality is in America. I'm asking all of you, were they the first ones here? And there are people that say that Columbus discovered it first. So can we go down the line and get opinions on that?
I think it's obvious Native Americans were here. That's why we call
Security guard for 20th Century Services.
Okay. You know, first I thank y'all for taking time out of your daily routine to come down on the show. I appreciate that, but let me get to the point. As Bill always says.
Yeah, to the point.
And you know what I want to ask the Indians. We're going to start with the Indians. Okay. What reality is in America. I'm asking all of you, were they the first ones here? And there are people that say that Columbus discovered it first. So can we go down the line and get opinions on that?
I think it's obvious Native Americans were here. That's why we call them Native Americans.
Okay.
And the fact that Columbus simply made his discovery public. There's evidence that West Africa traded with the New World, perhaps as long as 2,000 years ago, that Carthaginians probably traveled to North America perhaps as early as 500 BC. In fact, their ships were larger than Columbus's ships and easily could have made it. We know there's documentation that the Scots traveled to North America at least as early as 1386 and probably earlier, but it was kept, of course, all this was kept a trade secret.
Okay.
In fact, the Carthaginians kept it a trade secret that they were taking tin from Cornwall for centuries.
Okay.
So it just happens to be that Columbus was the first one to make his journeys public.
Okay. Can you jump in on it?
Yes. One of the things that I believe that we are the First Nations people. We're the First Nations of this world here. And this is the Western Hemisphere. And basically, the Creator gave us this land to share with everyone. And we are sharing it with everyone. And sometimes, especially with Columbus, he took advantage of our hospitality, became brutal with us. Even with the first pilgrims, it was brutality. It wasn't, even though we were very loving people.
Okay. Are you from a particular tribe? I mean,
I'm African American, Native American.
okay.
Yes.
You, brother.
Now, I believe the Native Americans were the first people in this country, on this land. Columbus was the first person from the Eastern Hemisphere to come here. Who discovered this country.
Okay, you know, he really made it, I think, to Cuba, you know, around Cuba, you know, this true.
According to the historical record, he made it to the islands in the Caribbean, and as I recall, his last trip, he was off the coast of what we now call Venezuela. Northern South America, he made the coast there. So in a sense, if you say the islands are part of the Americas, or if northern coast of South America is part of the Americas, he didn't make it to the Americas.
What's your take on it?
I believe Pizarro, when he landed with the Inca people, those are our same people, the native people. And one of the things that for the Sioux Nation, which I'm a member of, one of the things that we do is we document who we are. It's through the government set up by George Washington that we have to document who we are. And that's not fair. It's not fair for people to have to prove who they are. We know who we are and things. And far as Christopher Columbus, he was lost.
Okay, he did not make it to America.
We found him. We did, and we were very, very good to him. And we helped bathe him. They were stink when they came, and they were full of pestilence and things, and we healed them with our medicines. And this is one of the medicines that we have.
I see that.
Yes.
What is it?
It's sweetgrass, and we burn it at ceremonies and things. And this is a turtle, which is a resemblance of Mother Earth, and we sit on the turtle's back, all of us.
Okay. Your opinion? Did he make it to America?
Yes. If he,
Why you said it?
Like Mr. Godomsky said, he reached Venezuela, and that's part of the North American continent. So I say that's why I believe he made it to America.
Okay. Guess I'm not gonna give my spin on it because you know what, I'm trying to be unbiased. Okay. I'm gonna leave it and let the viewers decide for their own. Look like you was getting ready to say something. What you getting ready to say, Dale?
No, just yawning.
I would like to say something that we really need to change in our society. We need to have our native people write our native books. We need to have our African American people write our African American books. Those are my people. Those are where I come from. And we need to write them instead of having the Anglo-Saxon come in and write our books for us to tell us who we are or who they think we are. We know who we are. That has to change. When Christopher Columbus came, he said, "We have discovered you. You can't discover a people that are already here. We are here. We have been here for centuries."
Would you agree with that, Bill?